In a world overrun by a zombie virus, the apocalypse had arrived. A man walked into a house, preparing to gather supplies. Suddenly, the refrigerator behind him caught his attention because zombies love to hide in dark places. He moved closer and listened carefully, confirming there was indeed a zombie inside. Cautiously, he shut the fridge door and secured it with an iron nail. The zombie started thrashing around inside, but the man calmly wrapped a chain around the fridge, hooking the other end to his car. With a firm press on the gas pedal, he yanked the fridge into the sunlight. Despite their bloodthirsty nature, zombies have one fatal weakness. Exposure to sunlight turns them into ashes in no time. Rourke, driven by a deep hatred for zombies after losing his wife to them, roamed the wasteland alone. He was always on the hunt, either tracking zombies or already in the midst of killing them. Each time he killed one, he would carve a mark onto the stock of his gun with a knife. Over time, the stock became almost completely covered in these marks. However, in this post-apocalyptic world, the most terrifying threat wasn't just the zombies. It was the surviving humans who would kill each other for the scarce food supplies. One day, after finishing off a zombie, Rourke noticed a woman sitting in the middle of the street. His years of experience told him it was a trap set by other survivors. A few passers-by, though hesitant, decided to get out of their car to help her. Chris, one of the survivors, stepped forward to check on the woman and was immediately shot down. They had fallen right into the trap. A fierce firefight ensued, but outnumbered, the group of survivors quickly dwindled down to just one woman. A group of thugs initially just wanted to grab some supplies, but when they saw the woman, they had an evil idea. Just as they were about to assault her, a gunshot rang out, stopping them in their tracks. It was Rourke, intervening to right the wrong. He quickly took down a few thugs with his rifle and then ducked behind a car for cover. Alpha, their leader, armed with a shotgun, tried to close in, but Rourke swiftly shot him down. Despite being outnumbered, Rourke's extensive combat experience gave him the upper hand. Using the car for cover and his exceptional marksmanship, he managed to take out all the thugs. As he passed by, he made sure they were finished off with an extra shot. The woman he saved, Sam, realized that the bait was merely being used by the thugs. Sam decided to take her along as they needed to move quickly. Their car had been damaged in the firefight, and night was approaching when the zombies would come out in full force. They wouldn't survive the night on their own. Sam pleaded with Rourke, who was about to leave, to take them back to his camp. Rourke, used to being alone, was initially reluctant to help. However, Sam offered a bounty of valuable supplies as a reward. After a moment's thought, Rourke agreed to take them in. Time was of the essence, so the three of them set off immediately. Even though they ran as fast as they couldn't reach their destination before nightfall, and a horde of zombies had already gathered behind them. Sam quickly used her walkie-talkie to call the people at the camp, urging them to come to the gate for support. Dugan, who received the message, sprang into action. The elderly, sick, and those unable to fight were secured in a safer room, while the rest armed themselves to go meet the group. As the steel gates of the camp slowly opened, everyone was on high alert. Rourke and the others arrived just in time, with the zombies right on their heels. Rourke immediately began shooting as soon as he got out of the vehicle, but the zombies kept coming in the dark, forcing him to fight while retreating. Thankfully, the welcoming team arrived at the critical moment, unleashing a barrage of firepower that mowed down the zombies, allowing Rourke and the others to make it back into the camp safely. Just as the steel gates were about to close, Rourke noticed a particularly tall zombie that seemed eerily familiar. Although the rescue mission went smoothly, when the group learned that all of Sam's teammates had perished, they turned their suspicion towards the unfamiliar man, Rourke. The camp had a strict policy of not accepting outsiders, especially lone drifters who hunted zombies for sport. Such individuals were seen as potential threats who could bring disaster upon the camp at any moment. The debate over whether to take him in quickly escalated into a heated argument, teetering on the edge of physical confrontation. However, Sam's sudden declaration brought an abrupt halt to the bickering. Everyone was stunned into silence when Sam revealed the photograph of an airplane she had taken. The residents of the camp had long harbored the desire to leave this perilous place. Seeing the photo, Frank, the leader of the camp, immediately announced that if nothing went wrong that night, they would take the plane out of the city first thing in the morning. Despite Sam's repeated assurances that Rourke had saved her, Frank was still distrustful of him. He confiscated Rourke's weapons and planned to keep him in solitary confinement. Rourke had only sought to trade some supplies, but now he found himself in a precarious situation. Reluctantly, but with no other choice given the circumstances, he complied with Frank's orders. Before being locked up, Rourke inquired about the tall zombie he had seen. Dugan explained that this particular zombie was indeed different. It seemed to have evolved a consciousness. Its presence had organized the otherwise chaotic zombies, leading them to attack humans in an orderly fashion at night. During the day, the Zombie King would lead them to hide in a nearby hotel. After learning the hotel's location, Rourke obediently went into the cell. However, as anticipated, the unexpected soon happened. Dugan, monitoring the security cameras, suddenly noticed that the camera at the gate had gone dark. Meanwhile, the guard on duty at the gate heard strange noises. As he moved closer to investigate, a zombie suddenly appeared behind him. With the guard's fall, more zombies infiltrated the camp. The guard responsible for watching over Rourke was the first to be attacked by the zombies. He fired a shot, but it missed its mark. The gunfire alerted everyone in the camp, but the guard collapsed in front of Rourke. As soon as the zombies left, Rourke quickly used a lock-picking tool he had prepared in advance to escape from the cell. Meanwhile, a man was organizing the evacuation when a zombie suddenly attacked him. Fortunately, his teammates arrived just in time to save him. One of the zombies began attacking the defenseless elderly, women, and children, forcing them into a cell. The last man to enter was torn apart on the spot. Two men tried to close the steel gate, but the zombies held it open with relentless force. Despite their best efforts, they couldn't stop the zombies' advance. At the critical moment, Rourke intervened. As he took down the zombies, other armed personnel arrived on the scene. However, no one realized that the man had been bitten during the attack. One sharp-eyed man noticed the wound. The man, aware of his fate, only worried about his daughter. After he entrusted her to Sam, Frank resolutely took his life with a gunshot. As dawn broke, they prepared to head to the plane's location as planned. However, when Dugan tried to open the steel door, it wouldn't budge, as if something was blocking it. To figure out what was going on, they had to go around to the front entrance. What they saw left them all stunned. Countless wrecked cars were piled up, completely blocking the basement's steel door. No wonder it wouldn't open. Clearly, this was the work of the Zombie King, trying to trap everyone in the camp and launch another attack at night. Facing a zombie with intelligence, the group was at a loss for what to do. With the cars blocking the basement, they couldn't leave. Someone suggested moving all the wrecked cars, but there was no way they could finish such a massive task before nightfall. Another suggested finding other usable cars outside, but this idea was quickly dismissed as well since the virus outbreak had been ongoing for 2.5 years, rendering most cars unusable. Just as everyone was at a loss, Rourke proposed a bold idea. Instead of passively defending, why not go on the offensive and take out the Zombie King at the hotel? Without their leader, the ordinary zombies would be much less of a threat. Although this plan was risky, it seemed like their only viable option. After some consideration, Frank agreed to the plan. To cover their bases, they decided to split up. Frank would lead a group to find usable cars, while Rourke would take the remaining team to blow up the zombies' stronghold. Soon, the 5-member team reached their destination. They entered the hotel, finding it exceptionally dark, an ideal hiding place. After some searching, the team finally discovered the Zombie King sleeping in the basement. However, executing the plan became a new problem because there were 2 exits, requiring someone to place a bomb at the other exit. This task was evidently very dangerous, and just as no one spoke up, the usually timid Drew volunteered. Drew carefully made his way through the horde of zombies, bomb in hand. But just as he was about to place it, the Zombie King suddenly attacked him from behind. With a mighty roar, the Zombie King woke all the sleeping zombies. Seeing the mission failing, the remaining team members opened fire and quickly retreated from the basement. Dugan covered the others' escape and activated the pre-placed bombs. As the 3 made it into the kitchen, they realized Chris had gotten separated in the chaos. The next moment, zombies broke through the door. One of the teammates sacrificed himself to cover Rourke and Dugan, getting overwhelmed by the horde and ultimately using a grenade to take out as many zombies as possible. Rourke and Dugan barely escaped, only to run into another group of zombies. They had no choice but to run upstairs, fighting off zombies as they retreated. Just before the horde could catch up, they made it outside. The zombies stopped their pursuit in the sunlight. Dugan immediately used his walkie-talkie to call Chris, but it seemed Chris had also been bitten by the zombies. Despite the dire situation, they needed to get to Chris to retrieve a rope crucial for their escape. They decided to split up. Rourke would distract the zombies while Dugan made his way to Chris. Rourke successfully lured the zombies away with some well-executed provocations, allowing Dugan to find the unconscious Chris. However, just as Dugan retrieved the rope, Chris began to transform due to the zombie bite, and the noise attracted the Zombie King's attention. Rourke, seeing the danger, rushed to support Dugan. As Dugan finished off the transformed Chris, a zombie pounced on him. The two wrestled intensely, and Dugan found himself in serious peril. Fortunately, Rourke arrived just in time to save him. Finally, the two managed to get outside, but Dugan was unfortunately scratched by a zombie. Rourke stood silently by, waiting for Dugan to transform. As dusk approached, Rourke put Dugan out of his misery. Afterward, Rourke used the rope to climb to safety. By the time he reached the ground, the sun had already set, and the zombies began to swarm out. Meanwhile, the other team found only a small car. Unable to fit everyone, the man in the hat suggested leaving the others behind and taking only the pilot. His selfish proposal was met with strong opposition and condemnation from the group. As the argument heated up, they suddenly saw the cowboy driving a bus toward them. With the bus, everyone had a chance to escape together. However, their relief was short-lived as they saw Rourke leading a massive horde of zombies. The fighters immediately opened fire, but the sheer number of zombies, coupled with the onset of night, made it clear they wouldn't be able to leave tonight. They retreated back to the camp to regroup and strategize. The horde, led by the Zombie King, relentlessly pursued them into the camp. The survivors fled upstairs, quickly shutting the steel doors to halt the advance of the zombies. Though momentarily safe, the uncertainty of surviving the night loomed over them, plunging everyone into immense fear. Frank, consumed by grief, blamed Rourke for Dugan's death. However, he realized that blaming each other was futile. The failure of their plan was an outcome no one wanted. With the situation as dire as it was, they needed to unite and focus on survival. They knew that if they could make it through the night, there was a chance they all could survive. The remaining fighters quickly came up with a plan. They would hold the main gate and fight off the zombies until dawn. Before the final battle, Rourke revealed his secret to Sam. He had come to this city to avenge his wife, who was killed by the Zombie King. Hearing this, Sam wanted to join Rourke in the fight, but Rourke refused, saying that Sam's job was to protect the elderly, the sick, and the children. With that, Rourke went to the gate alone. Just as the zombie horde began to break through, Rourke immediately fired back, but as soon as he took down one wave of zombies, another surged forward. He tossed a grenade and quickly retreated upstairs. The remaining fighters managed to take out the pursuing zombies, but even more kept coming. They had to use the layout of the building to their advantage, engaging in a tactical game of cat and mouse with the zombies. The prolonged battle pushed everyone to their limits, but they refused to retreat. Despite being on the brink of exhaustion, they fought fiercely, buying as much time as they could for the others to get to safety. The fierce battle lasted all night. Most of the fighters had already fallen, but the number of zombies had also dwindled. After Frank fired his last few bullets, he was overrun by a group of zombies led by the Zombie King. By the time Rourke arrived, Frank was already dead. The Zombie King then appeared, ordering its minions to chase after Rourke. Rourke quickly shot one down, then took out another while running. The last zombie lunged at him, but Rourke dodged skillfully and managed to take it down using the cell bars. But before Rourke could catch his breath, the Zombie King was already behind him. It hurled Rourke several meters away, causing him to drop his weapon. Knowing he couldn't match the Zombie King in brute strength, Rourke opted for a tactical retreat. However, the Zombie King caught up and pinned him down. Rourke stabbed the Zombie King, but it barely flinched. Instead, it knocked the blade from Rourke's hand with a powerful punch. Struggling to push the Zombie King away, Rourke was once again sent sprawling to the ground. Faced with overwhelming strength, Rourke realized brute force alone wouldn't be enough to defeat the Zombie King. He glanced at the rooftop door and a plan formed in his mind. Rourke quickly ran up the stairs, intending to lure the Zombie King to the roof. The Zombie King, without hesitation, followed closely behind. Though intelligent, it was unaware that it was now broad daylight. Just as the Zombie King was about to catch up, Rourke decisively threw open the rooftop door. The Zombie King was exposed to the sunlight and instantly lost its strength, quickly being scorched into a charred husk. Having avenged his wife, Rourke chose not to join the group on the plane. Instead, he continued on his solitary path, resuming his relentless hunt for zombies.